is Brass Rabbit, and I will be your host for this evening. All right, and as you all know, welcome to Story in Verse. A very happy new year to you all. We have a theme for this evening. I'm going to get into the guidelines, I'm going to get into some bits and bobs, and then we will embark on this journey together. So for some of you who are visiting, you know, sometimes we do themes and sometimes we don't. The themes are extremely strictly adhered to by the audience and by the host and by all of those who are going to participate in the performance. We take it really, really seriously, and by that I mean, if you didn't know that, it's fine, you can come up on stage, I don't really care. So for our theme for this evening, we have the theme Beginnings, which I know is a groundbreaking concept for January. So I'm very excited to hear all of your takes on that. If you were not aware of the theme, that's totally fine. You're more than welcome to come up here. You know, I don't really care. So that is our theme for this evening. As for some of you who signed up or were pointed to the back table, you'll know that we have another thing called a microstory, which we have each event. It's a way for people who are just listening tonight to also participate. Our microstory theme for this evening is Tell Us About a Time You Made Something Out of Nothing. This is, if you're inspired to say, you know what, I actually do have something when I thought of that, you're going to hear me read some of them in between performers. You're more than welcome to go grab one of these and in your absolute best handwriting, as I am dyslexic, you can fill one out, one or two sentences, and then just run it on up to me and I will read it aloud for you. No one ever has to know. It's a great way for our audience members to also participate, and it's a really nice way as a palate cleanser in between performances. And now, without further ado, the first piece of paper I dropped on the floor will be our next performer. Please give a very, very warm welcome to Mark S. Mark, come on up.
Okay. Good evening. Mark Chardine, very pleased to be here again. Thank you for the warm welcome last time. Persuaded me to come again, and I look forward to future events as well. And as you can see, books I have As If in a Distant Dream and Under Watchful Eyes. And speak of new beginnings. Well, we should definitely make the New Year's resolution to do good things for dinner. Close the heavy door, let cold winds lash against it, take off your soaked coat. The table is set, plate and silverware in place, cocktails are ready. Tonight a sidecar, brandy and Cointreau mingle, sweet, smooth, subtle, strong. No salad for you, look at what we let simmer, then deftly covered. Steaming onion soup, topped by a thick cheese layer, slowly pierce and savor. Wait a moment, please. The main course is not ready. Cooking duck does take time. Although hot inside, the tender meat remains red, and we trimmed no fat. A sugary sauce dripped here and there on the plate, hints of spring berries. Modest garnishings, carrots, potato bits, peas, sprinkled with pepper. A simple dessert, a bit of chocolate mousse heaped by the spoonful. As dinner winds down, enjoy a sip of cognac. Your warm bed awaits. Well, you said new beginnings, and you've heard the expression pick up the gauntlet, that reference to, I think it was chivalry and knights dueling and jousting. You pick up the pen and you may find yourself jousting with a bit of foolishness and nonsense that comes from your own thoughts. But well, pick up the gauntlet. We never know how things really are, whether viewed from near or far. How will the fates change and churn when lines of verse glow and burn? How shall notions turn and twist whilst in a deep poetic mist? Must readers meander in a fog, fall off a bridge and into a bog? Baffled onlookers must await a clue. The answer, they say, will come from you. Thank you.
All right, our next performer will be our first spoken word artist up to the stage. In the Anything Else You'd Like Us to Know About You, they wrote, Justice Impacted. Just got out last year, December 19th. Please give a very, very warm welcome to Love Hodge. Love, come on up.
Hi, guys. It's my first time here. I wrote this while I was incarcerated, and let's see how it goes. I want to be a writer. I want my words to ring out into the world. I want them to sail on the wings of hummingbirds, live in the belly of the beast while seducing the mind of his captive. I want to write about love, pain, hope, and peace. I want to explore the finality of life and the duality of death. I want my words to give life to the lifeless. I want to examine places unknown in ways unseen. I want to be a writer. I want to write until my hands go numb and my mind empties, until I breathe my last breath, returning me to my father and his father, when all that is left of me are my words. Words that both ground and unleash my wanderless soul. Words that reveal monsters that are kept within. Words which explore the complexity of love and the necessity of hate. Words which finds peace within and without. Words about the now, the then, and the when. I want to be a writer, so I write. I write when no one is watching, when the darkness is all that is left. I write when my ancestors visit my dreams, dancing, for I am their hope personified, captured but not captive. We dance, my ancestors and I. We dance dances unknown to the woke world, for with them I am free. I write when my homeland is calling, and the smell of my grandmother's peanut butter soup fills the air. I write when I remember her touch on mine, the prayers she prays at sunrise, the way her sun-kissed skin glows at midday when she says, God, when she says, love, look what God has made. I write when I think of my sisters and the secrets they tell of life and love. I write when my tears turn to laughter. I write to feed a part of me I haven't the words to describe. I want to be a writer, so I write, not for you or for them, but for her, the girl with the loud silence, the one with the unspeakable darkness hidden beneath her smiles, the one that carries a quiet storm within her belly, who holds the world within the pages of her journal. I write for him, that sweet boy who became a bitter man, who wears brokenness as a cape and resentment as his armor, who wanders aimlessly for a love he may never find. I want to be a writer, so I write.
All right. Up next to the mic, in the Anything Else You'd Like Us to Know About You, our next performer wrote, follow him on YouTube at A Benedict. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a very warm welcome to A Benedict.
How are you? Good. Cheer for brass, everyone. Come on. Beginnings, right? New beginnings, beginnings of some sort. All right, we're going to try that. Yeah, right, whenever I want. Now, the first one I'm going to read is, you're all creatives. You're all a bunch of creatives, so you may be able to relate to this. It's called Pause. Taking a break from writing, so I decided to board a bus the other day, headed nowhere in particular, wanting to leave the driving to someone else. Taking a break from writing. It doesn't really matter where I'm headed. Enjoying views of the cemetery trees, swaying softly in the bus's wake with such ease. Taking a break from writing, long enough to refresh my craft and soul, tired of sweating sulfur, blood, and ink, as this bus ride allows me time to think. Taking a break from writing, hoping the synapses in my brain begin reconnecting. This trip is providing me with many ideas, and I can't wait to get back to writing. Thank you. Must be the dryness from the cold. There we go. Okay, so this is sort of about a beginning. But before you have a beginning, sometimes you have to have an ending. It's called Buckets. Walking below the peat-colored leaves, not seeing the forest through the trees, wrapped up in my ambivalence, dancing while being tempted by another dimension. Branches bunching under woodland towers, dropping at the base, creating stacks of jagged spears, piling higher than my anxiety, sharply piercing all that I have remaining. Appearing lost as light quickly begins fading through the muddy, marshy pathway. Navigating thickets of problems, wallowing through the woods, hoping to escape before dark. Confused about my introspective reflection, finding myself straying off course once more. Feeling that I've been here before, walking down memory lane, remembering nothing. Am I traveling backwards or just separating time into memories, placing them into buckets, marked milestones, achievements, and trauma, illuminated by twilight and wasted time? Pouring emotion into a bottomless hole deep within my forest of Arden, under a spectacular full moon, leading me, smiling, and releasing memories and pain. Feeling unencumbered and lighter than I have in years, now understanding why I am walking through these woods, leaving behind what no longer serves me. Thank you. Okay, beginnings. Here's a beginning. This one is actually written for a very special person in my life, the love of my life. It's called Flakes. I sat watching flurries furiously falling onto the balcony railing, in sync with Van Morrison, streaming in the background, as the calendar flipped over, welcoming a new year. As each frozen and fleeting flake fell, I wondered if this was a new beginning, kind of like the one 365 days earlier, and the hundreds and thousands before then. You smiled at me with those welcoming green eyes, reminding me that as each day moves into the next, my love for you grows exponentially higher than the snow. In actuality, Earth has only completed one revolution around the golden jewel, ending where we began our endless journey, as endless as our love, greater than the universe. Thank you. And one more quick one. This is just called Call It Rain. Although it is, right? Some call it liquid sunshine, while others insist it brings fortune on a couple's anticipated wedding day. But some believe it just reveals sadness. Examining rain closely, determining it is what it is, water created by atmospheric vapor, complements of clouds, temperature, and gravity. Rain providing torrential spring flooding, canceling baseball games, sending basement cardboard boxes floating along rivers of damp, dank dismay. Yet rain has cleansing properties, relieving, rejuvenating, and washing away guilt, anger, and jealousy, making the sun brighter and more beautiful upon its return. You guys are the best. Thank you so much.
Do you guys think it would be too much if we did an entire story in verse that was just themed off of like love letters? Would that be too much? Okay, because we've had so many people that are like regulars here just like profess their love for their person, and I wonder if we could get it all together, how much we could all cry. Okay, all right, so there's a little interest in that. All right. Our first micro story is up. Tell us about a time you made something out of nothing. Sometimes the most ravenous waterfalls come from ponds once still. I didn't know one of the words in that. I had to double check. All right. Our next performer would like us to know that they just got out of the hospital and they are here tonight. Gave a very, very big round of applause for Puck. Puck, come on up.
Hello. Happy New Year, everyone. I just want to do a quick plug, which I never do. This coming May will be the year anniversary since I published my very first novel. Thank you. So I'm probably going to be ordering a few author copies, and the current cover is going to be the old cover because come May, I'm going to design a whole new cover. So if you want to be one of the OGs with the current cover, come see me. I will hook you up. All right. And now I'm just going to jump into the thing that I literally wrote in a rush this morning. I call it New Year, New Everything. Some people think of the word beginning and picture a pretty princess sitting and singing on a balcony, dreaming of her Prince Charming. But in real life, beginnings are hardly ever that picturesque and inviting. To begin one story is to end another. And endings are never the announcement of a happily ever after. There is no such thing. A real ending is messier, more complicated, sometimes even bloodier. My most recent ending never would have made it into a fairy tale or a Hallmark movie. No, my last ending saw me alone in a little square room, furnished by nothing but an uncomfy bed, a hard plastic chair, and a locked-up TV. And I sat on that chair, looking up at the screens, interpreting non-existent subliminal messages in advertisements and Paw Patrol. I was, to put it plainly, out of my goddamn mind. Schizoaffective disorder is a bitch, by the way. I spent 2.5 weeks in the nut house. I spent my Christmas and my New Year's there. Once again, I had hit rock bottom. But the thing about rock bottom is, once you're there, the only way to go is up. So, it's 2026. I will be 28 in a few months. I'm so far behind on my life's ambitions, but I'm learning that that's okay. It's okay that my life was put on hold, that my chapter ended, not my story. This is my newest beginning. And so, if you'll care to indulge me, I've written a love letter from my future. And so it reads, to the beginning, from the inevitable. Dear house, I might cry, I'm sorry. I love that I own you. I love your colorful walls that absorb all my laughs and my secrets. I love your plentiful rooms filled with fun knickknacks and small-time art. Thank you. Thank you for holding space for my life. Dear husband, I love that I trust you. I love your luscious hair and sweet candy lips. I love your strong arms, which swallow up my insecurities every time you hold me. Merci. Merci beaucoup for holding space for my soul. Dear children, I love that I manifested you. I love how you finally come to me after a literal lifetime of waiting. I love your eyes, your fingerprints, and everything else that makes you, you. Danke schön. Danke for letting me be your mutti. And now, shifting back to the present, I want to thank you, Story and Verse. It's been nearly 3 years since I've been coming here, and I'm excited to be sharing my new beginning with you. And seeing as how it's the start of a new year, I also wanted to thank you for sharing your new beginning with me. Let's make it a great one, y'all. Thank you.
Talk about being on the same page. Jesus. All right. Our next performer will be sharing some spoken word as well. Please give a very, very big round of applause for Dylan Washington.
What's going on? So going on with the theme of beginnings, wrote a piece about kind of like how growing up, like in end of high school, beginning of college, before I really started to really think for myself. It's called Reality. All right. Field name A and a beach named 1. You know, Rockaway is where I'm from. TCNJ, I blazed more than some. Back in the day, we was trying to have fun. For the homies, I'm simply representing. Class to the gym, constant competition. SAT, AP, common cause of headaches. Hooping every day, you don't get breaks. PlayStation got me in a different headspace. Try to get in touch with my feelings, but it's just dead space. Common core, intense lies. Soft core, desensitized. Smoking the peace, playing Call of Duty. Snitch brother tweaked, had to call a mutiny, parents freaked. Tried the intervention, never mentioned. Half the homies got depression. A lot to stress about, but never the election. You know, just trying to get off this erection. Thank you.
All right. We got another micro story. Tell us about a time you made something out of nothing. The pandemic and quarantine was my introvert heaven. Nothing but binging shows and playing GTA. All right, our next performer will be sharing some poetry and music. You can find their work on Chaotic Hearts on Facebook. Please give a very, very warm welcome to Karen Humphrey. Karen, come on up.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here today because January 13th of last year, 2025, is the day I penned my first poem while driving in a car as an Uber driver with a passenger in the backseat. It is the greatest experience that I have had this whole last year. So I am going to share with you the first poem that I wrote. And this poem is called I Write. I write for myself. I write for my health. I write a story unheard. I write every word. I pick up my pencil and the words just flow from a place in my heart only some people know. My pain falls on paper like rain on the sidewalk. A little here, a little there. What I would give to just talk. The room, it's silent and always so quiet. My head and my heart are always in riot. My brain blurts words and my pencil races, and my eyes see moments and my body braces. Most times I don't know what's to come, and when my pencil stops moving, I do feel numb. Time went by, who knows how long. Was I writing? Was I dreaming? Was I right? Was I wrong? A minute ago it was dusk, and now it's dawn. I'll face the day with a smile on my face, and no one will know of that deep, dark place where sadness and regret live under lock and key, where happiness and love seem to evade me. I write for myself. I write for my health. I write the story in my mind, and it's peace I'm trying to find.
So I have a little bit of an announcement before we continue onward. Let's see this. Okay. So as many of you know, my actual job is to put things together and have people go to them, typically of the artistic varietal. So I have a couple projects that are in the figuring out stages right now that are very exciting. But one of them is documentary screenings that will be taking place in Trenton, New Jersey. And I, as many of you should also know, have a big predilection towards surveying. So I have a survey which will inform the planning committee about when these things will happen, because the point of a documentary screening is to inform the public and then to have a discussion about them. But dear God, it's 2.5 hours long, an hour and a half long, so we need to know when you're free. So if any of you do not have my Instagram or if you do not have my email, please contact me, or if you're interested in that program, and I will send you this survey, because this is how things are done, and then you can answer the survey, and then I'll tell you when it's gonna happen. Hopefully it'll happen when you want it to, and then you can all come. So that would be very helpful to me and all of my endeavors. And also you can learn something. They're all gonna be on a wide variety of topics, from social justice to environmental activism, conversations that we should be having that we all, hopefully are plugged into and care about, but we can always learn a little bit more. So thank you so much for my PSA. Up next to the mic, we have some poetry from Johi Mayar. Johi, come on up.
Hey everybody, I'm Joey, and I wrote a couple series of poems, not gonna read all of them, but just gonna read one that kind of does with beginnings. Kind of wrote these series about identity and kind of who I am without trying to perform for others or trying to fit into someone else's view of myself, trying to be more myself, really. And that's kind of what I'm trying to focus on this year, being unapologetically myself. Yeah, thank you. So this poem is called Return to Zero. I have carried too many names, each one a reflection cast by someone else, each one a shadow stretched across my skin, until I no longer recognize the shape beneath. I learned to walk as a man divided, lifting masks that were never meant to survive the night. I turn inward now, toward the quiet I abandoned, toward the voice beneath the noise, toward the self I left behind in the rush to become everything that was asked of me. I have told lies so carefully that they have hardened themselves into truths, layer upon layer, until I could no longer see where I ended and where you began. Each lie carved its own quiet shape inside me, blurring the voices I once trusted, silencing the child who spoke without trembling. The masks I wore were crafted with precision. Each one fits the season, each one fits the room, each one fits the expectations. I mistook it for destiny. Over time, they clung to the bone, pressed into the flesh, sealed themselves to me like a second skin. To remove them now, it is not a gentle act, it is a tearing. It is viscera pulling away from its frame. It is eye-watering, blurred and burning, as truth forces its way back into the body. It is the sting of air on wounds I did not know were still open. Yet I peeled them away one by one, not with shame, but with reverence. I stripped the voice that lied, the face that performed, the hands that trembled for approval, until what remains is raw, unmasked, and mine. There is a place within me that was never broken, never bargained, never touched by the trembling hands of the past. It waits with patient breath as if knowing I would return, only when I was finally strong enough to stand before it. So I placed my hands upon the ground where the boy who bore my name once stood. I remember how to breathe, without armor, without performance, without the weight of borrowed stories. I gathered the fragments, the fire, the sorrow, the victories no one ever saw, and I carried them to the threshold where he waits. Together we step into the same body. Together we rise into the same name. Thus I return to zero, to a place where truth first knew my name. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, our next performer will be sharing some spoken word, and they would like us to know that their piece will be with improvised piano accompaniment, along with poetry by Mahmoud Darwish. Please put your hands together for William Bauer. William, come on up.
How many people here have heard the poetry of Mahmoud Darwish? A new beginner. A new beginning. Mahmoud Darwish, M-A-H-M-O-U-D, D-A-R-W-I-S-H. He's a Palestinian poet. The war will end. The leaders will shake hands. The old woman will keep waiting for her martyred son. That woman will wait for her beloved husband. And those children will wait for their heroic father. I don't know who sold our homeland. But I know who paid the price. If you cannot be rain, my love, be tree, teeming with life. Be tree. And if you cannot be tree, my love, be stone, drenched in moisture. Be stone. And if you cannot be stone, my love, be moon in the beloved's dream. Be moon. So said the woman to her son at his funeral. Those poems sort of speak for themselves, but this one is a little bit interesting because Mahmoud Darwish gets surreal sometimes and very symbolic. And this is a poem about the cypress. The Mediterranean cypress is this tall tree and very narrow. And it's trees in general in Palestine are very symbolic, as you know, olive trees, which are being ripped out of the earth as we speak. This poem uses the symbol of the cypress in a very metaphysical kind of way. It's actually based on a quote by another poem, Bassam Haifar, who says, "The cypress is the tree's grief and not the tree. And it has no shadow because it is the tree's shadow." And this is Mahmoud Darwish's response. The cypress broke and slept on the road upon its chapped shadow, dark green, as it has always been. No one got hurt. Vehicles sped over its branches. And dust blew into the windshields. The cypress broke. But the pigeon in a neighboring house didn't change its public nest. And 2 migrant birds hovered above the hem of the place and exchanged some symbols. And a woman said to her neighbor, "Did you see a storm?" She said, "No, and no bulldozer either." And the cypress broke. And those passing by the wreckage said, "Maybe it got bored with being neglected or grew old with the days. It is long like a giraffe and little in meaning like a dull broom and couldn't shade 2 lovers." And a boy said, "I used to draw it perfectly. Its figure was easy to draw." And a girl said, "The sky today is incomplete because the cypress broke." And a young man said, "But the sky today is complete because the cypress broke." And I said to myself, neither mystery nor clarity. The cypress broke, and that is all there is to it. The cypress broke.
That was outstanding.
Do I have time for one more? A quick one. This is actually a poem by another poet, Hind Judah. It's called "A Dead Child's Tiny Feet." And I want to remind everybody that it's winter in Gaza. It's not a chunk of ice, even if it is as cold as one. It no longer runs because it hasn't learned to walk yet. It's not a rose, yet its scent reminds me of one. It's not a face, but I kiss it like a cheek. It's not a tear, but the burning in my heart that dried the water in my eyes. I am not alive. I am choking. I am not dead. but it's my soul trembling like a slaughtered bird.
There was once a man named Mark, and Mark also played the piano. And I don't know if we have to tell him, but that piano, somebody's needed to play it for quite some time. Thank you so much, William. All right. Holding so many pieces of paper. Okay, up next to the mic for some spoken word and poetry. There we go. Our next performer wrote to us, and anything else you'd like us to know about you. I am up past my bedtime today, so please be nice. Please give a very, very warm welcome to Sunny. Sunny, come on up.
I didn't ask for you to be nice, but I did. I am asking now. So thank you, Rabbit. Hold on one second.
Too late. Perfect.
Some great performances today. I have not been here in quite some time. I am going to read 2 short-ish pieces of poetry. My name is Sunny. I use he, him, his pronouns. In this first poem, just to preface, again, my name is Sunny. I use he, him, his pronouns. I am a transgender man. I've kind of said this at many of the story and verses that I've attended here. It's great to see several of the folks who are almost always here when I'm never here. So thank you again, Rabbit, for doing, yes, clap, do the clapping. Come on, man. Come on, dudes. Thank you so much. All right, this first piece is titled Icarus as a Trans Man. Icarus, indeed. It's okay. But, indeed. Did Icarus tell you why he wanted to fly? Maybe his sights weren't on the sun. What if someone else named Icarus foolish? The unslept hours those wings contained, the work, grief, thoughtful angles of sculpted wax were no less than art. There was no doubt in their rainbow abalone finish. When he was complete, I watched him return fallen, cerulean-mottled eggs to nests, cradling and placing whole other delicate worlds. I watched him pick and choose the last, loneliest fruit from a season's treetop to gift his love. I watched his perch on countless branches, watched his being embracing the sky, arms and legs, an upturned face and wings and whole bare chest. Icarus found no craft so rewarding as sharing in the creation of himself. Someone else drove him up there, too high to sustain flight. But I think even at the moment the air let go, he would not have changed a thing. Thank you so much. It's so great to listen. Oh my God. That's the only new piece that I have. I'm going to read one more piece. Doing something wrong with this mic. I have a tendency of trying to choke diamonds from myself. The pressure rises in my throat in such a way that I couldn't imagine sufficient payoff but to cough up jewels. I imagine that movement sometimes, that crowning moment, the frustration of impoverished years yielding impossible wealth for myself, my family, past exes, my community, maybe also some strangers. I've had some moments like that, not necessarily so grandiose or dramatic as that, but a moment where I feel a sentence clear as a diamond, something beautiful made of bedrock darkness and pressure that could give a stranger vertigo, fill and ache the delicate cave of a skull. But it's difficult, sometimes still encased in darkness, to see something like that, something with shining beveled edges. I'm not certain at times if I'm just gagging on stone, even perhaps later holding it in the palm of my very hand. I sometimes don't recognize it. I'll think it a tchotchke. I'll place it with the pens on my desk. I'll glance over it when I water houseplants, and many days nothing will come out. I'll move my mouth to speak a hello or good morning or to answer how I'm doing, and all I can think of is how air is not moving from my neck up, how my head feels a pitch black cavern. The lump in my throat is a boulder. My tongue is sometimes Sisyphus at best. A person will say hello or good morning or ask how I'm doing. And maybe if I had an Adam's apple, the struggle of it quivering would make the panic a little better understood. I am still grateful for the moments where I know, can feel, and can see something I have been carrying, spoken and laid out in the palm of my very hand. I didn't dare imagine anything about me could ever be so clear. I carry an intense desperation to crush things of value from myself. Much of my adult life so far has been a flurry of movement, much of it forced by stimulants, much of it forced by panic. I press 2 fingers to feel the sledgehammer pulse in my neck. I still struggle to calm down. I still struggle to sit still and not be desperate for diamonds, but I am still grateful when I can sit with someone and gradually speak evenly, at more ease, have a meal without fear of choking. I am grateful to hear my voice aloud, grateful to hear the edges of enunciated letters, not faltering, not quivering, but serene, like tall grass in the green plains I dream of, that open space, that vivid sky interrupted only by a breeze. Thank you.
All right, guys, up next to the mic, please give a very warm welcome to Stephanie Schweidrich. Stephanie, come on up.
Hello, everyone. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been here. Happy New Year, everyone. So, beginnings. The last couple of weeks have been, I think, very challenging for our communities here in New Jersey, particularly, especially in Minnesota, where I have some friends, and they're very much in my hearts right now. So this poetry, this piece that I have for tonight is in response to some of the things going on. So I'll just hop into it. It's titled, "The Partially Chewed Through Husk of Hope." These words, love, empathy, goodness, are deeply unpopular feelings. Rage, fear, and authority, now easier commodities to sell, filling in the holes of our humanity. Our souls gripping to the walls and invisible lines that divide us, the forest fires burning between us, the rivers of water that separate us, and the mountains of ice that terrorize us. A watchtower of control in the palm of our hands, witnessing state-sanctioned murder and beatings, scrolling through memes and daily trends. The small-handed man in his gilded high castle, money being made for him and his puppets of profit, a mind of immorality and endless scandals, our Lady Liberty strangled. Our time in this existence, this life, is limited, like a child's smile, or a woman's body, a man's tears, or love made at half-light. Let there be an easy day and a quiet night. Let our minds silence all of the chatter. Let our bodies find all of the love and laughter we buried deep inside, resting next to the dirt and the weeds, the darkness, the worry, and the partially chewed through husk of hope. After ash has fallen, the water recedes, and the mountains of fascist men have crumbled, and they will crumble. Watch as the seeds begin to root in the blood and sweated soaked soil. Do not let your lips and heart go numb. No, No, together we will look down and we will smile. The daffodils are finally breaking ground. Thank you.
All right. This is louder than I expected it. Sorry. Okay. Our next poet would like us to know my middle name is Michael. Please give a very warm welcome to William Michael Beck. William Michael Beck, come on up.
Without further ado, this poem is lovingly dedicated to anyone who ever had problems with a bully, the mean girls, that asshole in the back of the room, whatever, in school. This is dedicated to you. I was bothered by this guy for years. And this was the very last time that he ever fought me. And it's called The Battle of Bell Park. It was July 1984. We were in Bell Park in the middle of Ocean Grove. Could smell the honeysuckle in the air. Could see the yellow jackets and the bumblebees, fluttering lazily. And it had been going on for years. Hey, you fucking pussy! And there he was, in the middle of Bell Park. Guy Alfaro, biggest badass in town. And he'd been beating my ass for years. This is nothing new. And I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew he was going to tear me apart. So I figured mouthing off to him didn't matter. There's a certain amount of fatalism involved here. I'd give him as much shit as I could before the lights went out. And there was his little bitch behind him, Jimmy Richter. As much as I hated Guy, I hated this little shit even more. At least Guy would come out front, ready to take a punch, but his little boy hid behind him. Bell Park, middle of Ocean Grove, a warm, pleasant night. As good a night as any to get your ass kicked, I guess. Hey, Guy, what's the difference between you and a big steaming piece of shit? And the genius asks, what? Absolutely nothing, Guy. Absolutely nothing. And he hit me in the head. And there were silent fireworks. Displays in my head. Blue, white, purple. It was beautiful, really. And I hit him twice. Once in the mouth, once in the nose. Second time drawing blood. Son of a bitch, you little wham. Oh, I'm gonna wham. And it's logged on. Punch for punch, insult for insult. All of those years of being tormented by this asshole, pouring out like the blood gushing out of Guy's nose. Every punch he landed, I landed two more. All those years of abuse hardened into one bleeding fist. And I permanently wiped that shit-eating grin off of his face with a blow that sent blood, spit, and Guy's pride flying. He never harmed a hair on my head after that day, and neither did anybody else. Years later, his sidekick, Jimmy, told me, he'd never admit it. But after that day, he respected you. But what a way to earn it. Thank you. How are we doing on time, Rabbit? Okay. Well, we will end this with just because it's beginnings, talking about beginnings. The Charles Bukowski, one of my favorite whether you like him as a poet, a writer, or not, one of my favorite beginning lines of any novel ever comes from Charles Bukowski's Post Office, the first line. He's talking about working for the post office. And the first line of it is, "It began as a mistake." And it just goes downhill from there. But anyway, if you know Bukowski. But anyway, have a wonderful night. Please give it up once again for Brass Rabbit and for the lovely people here in Princeton, the Arts Council, and have a good night.
Okay. All right, you guys, we are down to our last three performers. We're down to our last three performers. The third of whom is going to be sharing some poetry. Please give a very, very, very warm welcome to Ariana. Ariana, come on up.
I don't usually read out of a notebook, but there's such a thing as over-editing, and the version in my phone was over-edited. And I was never going to read it again, but how do I even open this notebook? But I think it deserves the respect for the anger I felt when I wrote it, that I edited out with hindsight. So let's see, this is January 7th, 2026, and the title changes all the time. Tonight it's The Mercenary. When you practiced, did you start to wish, wonder, steal through paper, grips harder, get better, grips harder, steal through paper? Did you want more? Did you imagine lead through flesh, like an itty bitty bitty guilty orgasm? When your finger later squeezes the trigger, is it fear, reflexes forcing body over mind, or an ancient quest to win, conquer, and make submit at all costs? Did the steel quiver under your finger? Did your mind discuss? Did you think of the dark things or the light things? I imagine you see nothing. Did you see nothing? Was it worth it? Did you come? Was it the best orgasm you ever fucking had? Will you fall to your knees now and repent? Or will you just dream of hot flesh on steel?
So our next performer wrote something down, and the beginning of it, I just don't understand what it is. So everybody, please give a very warm welcome to Michael Demand!
I don't understand what I write down either. It's okay. No one understands. Princeton Arts Council. I'm going to start off real easy. Take a walk with me. We can show ourselves to the Druids, manifesting hope all the way from here to there on Winspoon Street. The witch's brew still works, but the magicians packed up and let the rabbits up their sleeves manage to escape. The entire shark-filled tanks, but what about us? The landlord sucked the lives from this avenue, but the bodega still tastes the same. At least for now, until my old local deli becomes a 7-Eleven. And the mother-daughter dollar store shapeshifts into a Shake Shack. Until the day the toxins take me, the memories still continue to collect. Arts Council of Princeton. We used to live here. I don't need this, do I? I'm loud enough? So as our wonderful host let you know, my name is Michael Demand. I'm a poet and prose writer from Jersey City, New Jersey. It's so nice to be back. The shows that I do, usually we celebrate new shit by saying, new shit, can I get a new shit? New shit, thank you. This one's called She's on Fire. I've learned to fathom being a wallflower, hiding in the backgrounds. I've made friends with every single spider and cobweb who met the architects erecting this high-rise into something so sentient. It wishes it became a real person, but having a soul here in New Jersey doesn't pay the bills. You can work and try and fight and cry, but even if you siphon into your own cipher and bravely stride into the different stories that make you stronger, day by day we find we are not just a cog in the machine. We are not just a cog in the machine. Princeton Arts Council, say it with me. We are not just a cog in the machine. We are beautiful brains held in bountiful bodies, selling serendipity, and no single broken soul can strip that away from me. Our lanterns guide us through the darkest trials to show these dainty demons we have the choice to be more evil than them, though we choose not to be. And though sometimes the path less traveled doesn't bring us to the right solution, we still find our own way in the end, because becoming the light isn't always the answer until the brightness bursts through this chassis, where we choose to become the best version of ourselves. This is our electricity. This is our power. Princeton Arts Council, this is our legacy. Thank you. I got one more piece, maybe. Okay, all right. Brass Rabbit's gonna fight me later, but I have one more piece. Okay, all right, so I read this one last time. I see a lot of new faces in the crowd, and I see a lot of young faces in the crowd. And it's important that I mention this to you guys. Yeah, no, you guys are all young people too. The people who don't feel young, you're all still young. And the reason I bring this up is because love is ageless. And you can still find yourselves in relationships that might not be the best for you. And if you find any red flags, it's time to throw them into the waste management dumpster outside. This one's called Klasky Sapo, and this is going to be the last one. Can I have one more round of applause for Brass Rabbit? My name's Michael the Man. This is my last piece. The bristles scratch the frame. The canvas bears coarse structure of avant-garde juncture, where creativity places its mind. The degenerate dreamers we find delving on Main Street are armed with art. Their suffering soccer cleats remain, ripping the sod from gardens, growing graciously from tears and bone. Our clavicle speaks of when we were last touched by something that felt like the angel of death. Yet we still fell in love. Because nothing grasps you at the throat more than the eyes you get lost in. I'll depict every detail of the retinas that made me feel like my home was burning, but the heat always kept us warm, and the Roku television screen scrolled until I found an old Klasky Sapo show to lull us back to sleep. So the house can finally become frozen again. And I always thought I enjoyed the temperature, Princeton. But sometimes I'm better off.
You guys can tell why I always put Michael DeMann closer to the end. He's a good, he wakes you up. He's like a cold glass of water that you needed, you know? All right, guys, up next, our final performer for the evening. Please give a very, very, very warm welcome to Sunday Blue. Sunday, come on up. All right, I was going to give you guys a choice of a audience participation or not, but I'm not. You guys are going to do some audience participation. Mike got me all riled up. All right, so also, Rai says, the fourth Saturday of every month, I'm running an open mic, so very excited about that. Rai says in Highland Park. All right, so this one, here, okay, can everybody who can stand up, or everyone who wants to? This is called My Mother is a Volcano. And what we're gonna do is, every time I say the word volcano, just watch me now, and I want you to, you guys are in this, you're gonna do it. So every time I say the word volcano in the poem, you're gonna go, okay, all right, we're gonna practice once. Ready? Volcano. All right, yeah, everybody get their valuables secured. Okay. I have something like a memory. It's how the glass bent and the china shook when she spoke to me, even if I was only a newborn baby. I've been told I cannot trust my mind, but I know it was then I learned that there are sounds we can hear without our ears. My mother is a volcano. She speaks to me, and I will not die, I will not die. There are some days I deny what is real, how I've had to make a joke out of life like a child might. A child without the rage of a grown woman. My mother is a volcano. There are sounds you can not hear with your ears. There are voices waiting to appear. My mother is a volcano. I am a mad woman. The silence I've endured, the silence we've all endured. I am a mad woman. My mother is a volcano. I reach into the earth for air. I am a mad woman. No, I am a volcano. My mother is one too. How the glass nearly broke when she spoke. See yet, mountain maiden, her love torn between two forces. Who is fire and who is water too? Levitt Amp. I am a woman. I am a volcano. Thank you, everybody. Good job. Woo! Do a whole class of just that. Right, so, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a really big round of applause for everybody who came out tonight? Mike is